What's up, Seeker? We are closing in on our 250th episode of this very podcast.
That's right, and we are going to be celebrating our 250th episode of this very fucking podcast on Discord with our patrons, and hopefully you.
So we're going to be live on this very podcast on Discord on the morning of either Saturday, August 5th or Sunday, August 6th.
For now, head over to Patreon or Discord and vote for which day and time works best for you.
That's right. And once we know the day and the time, we will absolutely be spreading the word on all of our social medias.
Now, we know not everyone's going to be able to make this one, and we will still be releasing a normal episode on that Tuesday and Thursday, but we wanted to do something a little extra for episode 250.
Hell yeah. So keep an ear, eye, or whatever object you use to gather information with on our social medias, and we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
But for now, on to the show.
Welcome back to the Sword of Truth podcast, the chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with Ghostly Craft Brew on the side. I'm terrified. I'm Nate, and I'm here with
Aaron.
Yup.
Beautiful.
That was exactly how I expected it to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
amazing. I love that.
And on this episode, we are being visited by chapter 63 of Temple of the Winds.
We should have said a sexy visit.
Is
Sexy visit.
Is it?
Yeah, Denna's there.
Is that?
Spoiler alert.
Does that inherently make it so?
Sure does for me.
It does for Aaron, yeah. He's
Okay.
like, I know she's dead and a ghost, but will she be wearing the leather, or how does that work?
No, I think actually that is a good point, and we will get in. I think we'll touch on whether or not it is a sexy visit, and I do want to talk about that later.
It's okay. Aaron can separate his mind.
I don't think so.
I can. Not going to.
He'll be pretty focused. All right. Well, chapter 63 opens with Richard getting out of the wizard's chair to greet the spirit of Denna. Anything you'd like to add, Aaron?
Nope.
Nothing about Richard rising from the chair.
No, I wasn't going to
When he
try to
sees
say
Denna.
something about something similar to, like Aaron, this chapter opens.
Like your legs?
Yeah.
Your legs opening?
I was trying to figure out something to do with that, but
That's what I heard too. I heard something about legs opening.
I ran out of time. Out of time.
Something about cracking a spine open. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It's pointed out here that Richard can't pick and choose who comes to see him. Sometimes it's randos that he doesn't know, but he's got a deep connection with Denna, so he knows that it's her. They also do this very nice, very cordial first name greeting. Richard, Denna. And that's all. It's weird. I don't... People do that. It's funny to me.
It's funny, first of all, because I would assume she looks like herself, but maybe not. Maybe she's just a ball of light or some bullshit.
Well, we did with Kaylin's mother. Like,
It
they
looked just
mentioned
like her.
It looked like her.
But
Yeah.
they mentioned it was like there's kind of a blur, but it's like
Yeah.
close enough that he can tell who it is. So it's like, I think it is. It's like, I think they're like half blur and half person, but because Richard has,
A connection.
well, and he's already met Denna in the spirit world before. So like, this is like familiar to him.
I guess also just a comment about it being randoms.
Mhm.
I would think that only people who had some connection with you would show up. But it also leads into something that, like, Richard has been here for weeks.
Yeah.
So I guess it fills up your weeks if you're just having visits from random people.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Could be 10 minutes, could be 10 fucking years. You don't know when your
Well-
guests are going to leave your house.
They're random to Richard,
Right.
but maybe they're not random to the temple.
It does, I mean, look.
Maybe Richard's the
Later-
rando.
Later in the chapter, it does kind of make a reference that only people that had something to do with Richard and the temple could come see him. Maybe
Which-
he didn't know all of the people. They might have been people from thousands of years ago or whatever.
I want to bring something up about that later. Okay,
Okay.
that's a I don't even know when I'm going to drop it. That's how much of a
Well, it
tease
does
it is.
come up later, so we could probably
I know.
probably do it then.
Maybe
he
I will.
probably has like wives of old seekers or some bullshit, you know, like 6 degrees.
There's a club in the underworld.
What I'm saying
Seekers'
is like
wives.
he sees them as randoms, but there is some type of weird like 6 degree.
There's a connection.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Whether it's rich or again, maybe it's just the temple. They're there visiting the temple.
Yeah, that
The
could
temple's
be too.
been there for a while.
But whatever you just mentioned, that he does, it does say here in a second, probably
Yeah.
the next chapter here, or the next note, that only specific people are allowed to visit him.
I think
Oh.
that's what it is.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe he.
But that's later in the chapter.
Well, and so he made that rule because he was tired of the randos.
Probably.
No,
He can just disappear
Okay.
whenever he wants.
We'll
to.
get into it.
So she sees that he's wearing an aegil that's not hers.
Mm-hmm.
She gave hers to Richard on the day that he killed her. Yeah, I actually checked with Jade. I was like, that's right? That's the day he killed her.
It's the day
with the white blade.
It's the day he saved her.
Arguably, yes.
Yeah.
But he's not wearing it. And he goes, no, the one that I'm wearing now belongs to another Mord Sith that I killed. So
Phrasing, perspective,
So
my
you're
guy.
not special, Denna. I kill Mord Sith all the fucking time. How
Is
does
it
that
too-
make you feel?
Is it Tuesday? Killed another one.
No, what this is one. Okay,
It's guilty,
listen.
Richard.
When you're talking to somebody that you care about, and they're very depressed or sad,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to empathize with them, and they're just like, it's another person that I kill. Like they keep
Oh, yeah.
exasperating the guilt that they feel, because it's true, real. Depression is real. They actually feel these things, but you on the outside are watching them and be like, come on, man, like
Yeah.
you didn't actually though, and you're exaggerating and being a martyr right now, and it's kind of annoying.
Well, no, the depression feelings are valid and they are real,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
so are the other ones. It's okay to feel that way. It's how you deal with feeling that way when you see your depressed friend being a depressed person, and it's totally okay to be like, in your head, go, come on, man. Come on. But on the outside, you gotta go, what can I do to help?
Yeah. How can I
What do?
redirect
Get it?
this energy?
I understand.
Yeah.
What can we do to make it better?
Which
Yeah.
Denna does redirect it.
Yeah, she does.
Denna knows that the Mord Sith Richard is talking about is Reyna.
Yes.
Right? She knew her from before. She knows her now that they're in the underworld together. And she tells Richard that Reyna is at peace.
Mhm.
Which, good. The chapter that she died was very fucking sad. And we all wanted that for Reyna. But we're glad that now, at least we know that she is good.
We got confirmation.
Yes. We know
Yeah.
for certain that
Yes.
Reyna is in a good place right now. And that's good.
Which is why I feel like Denna would be rolling her eyes internally at when Richard says this, because she's like, I know that she was killed by the plague, and I know that you didn't cause the plague.
Yeah.
So
You're
shut the
being
fuck
dramatic,
up. Yeah,
dude.
You're
Come on.
being dramatic. But also in this, she explains that Reyna can't come to him because she was killed after the
violation of the
violation of the wind.
Yeah,
so
they
there
closed
are
their doors.
there are rules
Right.
Yes.
on who is allowed to visit
Oh,
Richard
yeah, I see what you're
in
saying.
this space
Mhm.
from the temple. The temple has restrictions on who from the world of the dead can come visit Richard in this place.
Yeah.
So they can't
okay.
be totally random people.
He's not like fully in the underworld. He
So-
is, but he isn't. He's like in a special little section where the temple is allowing him to spend
Which-
his
Yeah.
time.
We did say on previous
The rules are a little different.
we did say on previous episodes that we said that the temple was in the underworld,
Yes.
and we misspoke. It's not in the underworld. They had to go through the underworld to get to the temple. The temple is somewhere in between. It's in
okay.
the spirit world.
I believe that the temple is in the underworld, but the temple itself is a sentient magical being. So him being inside of it, there are certain rules and requirements.
Oh, like as soon as he exits
Yeah.
the temple, he's in the underworld.
Yeah,
unless
if
he
he
creates
were-
a bridge to
exactly.
the living.
Right.
He couldn't walk out the front door right now.
But that's what they say later. He he has to go through the underworld. That's why he has to agree to Darken's rules.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Or is that just to leave the temple?
To leave the temple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. He can't just walk out the front door and go stroll along the lawn. Because
Right.
there's no lawn. It's the underworld.
Right.
There's no
Okay.
time he can spend as much time as he wants here, but
Pocket
the rules are
dimension.
different inside.
Exactly.
Yes,
He's
the
in like
temple
a
is
pocket dimension in the underworld.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But that also explains why Raina can't just show up.
Right.
Like-
because there are rules to enter this
Yeah.
this area that he's
Okay.
in for
Which-
the spirits as well.
That spoils my tease.
Oh.
Because I wanted to know why George didn't show up. Because
Oh, yeah.
George would have definitely been someone that could have fucking got Richard out of his funk.
Yeah,
No, we
that's
don't
true.
have- we
Talk
don't
about a
have-
person you want to hear from right now. Or, I mean, Richard also believes Zed to be dead.
No, we see, but this is the thing. We don't get actual requirements from the winds. We know that
Right.
anybody who died after the violation can't come.
Right.
But there's no reason that we are given that
Right.
anybody who died before that couldn't have come.
Yeah.
Unless they just didn't have a message for him.
Well, yeah, that's what this is. There's requirements, but the cop-out they use is they never say what the requirements are. Because now nothing's plot holes. It's like, no, George didn't visit because he couldn't, because of the requirements.
Because he didn't have it doesn't tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
Because
and maybe
I
he
would have
did.
loved
Maybe he did,
for
but we
George
don't know.
to show up. That's
Yeah.
true, yeah. If George showed up and we didn't find out, I got a problem with Terry.
Yeah,
But-
no.
Okay, all
Just
right.
as a huge aside that we don't get to see. Well, immediately on the subject of Raina being brought up, Richard is like, nope, too painful, not fucking going down that road, we're changing the subject. He brings up the Aegil again. He's like, I gave yours to Kaylin because, hey, as promised a long time ago, she's the only one that can give me more pain than you can.
God damn it, Richard.
I just want to say that I'm gonna bring this up later when I talk about this, but it kind of has the vibe of somebody telling their ex-girlfriend, like, you know how you were talking about my girlfriend, you were kind of jealous about the girl that I kind of ended up dating. We're broken up, by the way, because she hurt me more. Like he's like, this is I don't
Yeah.
know. It feels like you're being like, yeah, you know how you were kind of jealous of her. She is a whore, like you thought.
Look, there's nothing wrong with this, but Richard is full black eyeliner, black fingernail polish. He is full 15-year-old teenage goth listening to Avril Lavigne.
I know. It's the telling the ex
Yes.
about the current girlfriend being bad. Like, oh, ew.
Oh yeah, on every front it's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad on you quit feeling sorry for yourself, and it's bad on like, yeah, is he like, hey, that means there's wiggle room. What are you up to?
Yeah.
I'm
She's a spirit. He's like, yeah.
I'd kiss you if
single
I
now,
could.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't even thinking. I was just thinking like goth Richard is in full effect.
No, to me, it
With
felt
the little
like
black spikes. Oh, I would
it
love
felt
that
like you're
so
fighting
much.
with your girlfriend, and you start
Mhm.
talking to your ex while you're fighting with your girlfriend. And you're being
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
yeah, remember how I told you she was gonna hurt me so much?
Mhm.
Ask
she
me about how
did.
she hurt me.
Now I'm vulnerable. Does that make you want to have sex?
But I love how Denna does it, how Denna handles
Oh, yeah.
it, because she's not like, oh my god, what did she do? She's like,
Yeah,
What
no,
did she
you're
say?
being a fucking
Denna's
idiot.
a goddamn boss bitch.
he's giving him. She thinks Richard is giving himself the most. She's like, you're doing this to yourself.
You're doing it
bitch."
yourself. Exactly. No, dude, this is you being a stubborn ass right now.
Yeah.
This has
Yes.
nothing to do with her. And, well, she goes on to say, look, you might not think that I can hurt you here,
Mm-hmm.
but I can. I can make you remember. And it's up to you to figure out, like, why the fuck I would do something like that. So
Mhm.
she's basically threatening him with, I'm going to teach you a lesson, just like I used to, and I might not be able to do it the same way, using the same sort of pain, but I can still teach you shit with pain,
Yeah.
no matter where you are.
Well, you did liken it. I don't think you put it in the notes, but you did liken this to a Scrooge moment.
Yes, this is
Oh, yeah.
1,000% Scrooge. I mean, my favorite version of that being the 1988 amazing film Scrooged with Bill
Mm.
Murray,
Yeah.
because
I love
that's the
it.
best
Yeah.
one. Second Christmas movie to ever make me cry.
It makes you laugh, and then it makes you cry.
Yeah, that is a great movie. I'm sorry, I'll stop waxing poetic. Is that what they say?
It's
I don't
poetic
know.
waxing.
Yeah,
Mm,
but like, that's what
I
this
think
is.
you're right.
She's
Yes.
gonna take him back in time to teach him a lesson.
Yes.
While not really taking him anywhere. He's like still in his bed or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's what this is. It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
And again, I know the answer is probably just magic, but where did Denna get these powers? Because she was able to do this in the real world because of the Aegil. She doesn't have an Aegil.
I think this is just something about the Temple of the Winds or the Underworld. I think had any of the other ones been like, we're going to take you to your past, if they were there with him, had George shown up and been like, hey, I'm going to show you what it felt like to not be encumbered by anger because you shoved it down so far, or whatever the fuck, whatever the moral of that story would be.
Yeah.
He probably could have taken it back to his childhood.
That's what I mean. When they die, they just get these powers.
I think I don't know if that's the case or if it's because of the
because they're in the temple.
They're in the temple. There's knowledge within the temple.
Pocket dimension.
Pocket dimension. Yeah. Magical pocket dimension. Why am I asking questions?
It's all the answers we need.
He has all of the knowledge within the temple. Like,
True.
maybe it's something like that. He has all the knowledge within here. She has all the knowledge within here to be able to do that.
Okay.
I think it's interesting where he ends up going. We'll find out here.
Yes.
It tells us. This is the choice of all of it.
There is a flash of light inside Richard's mind, and then he's in Tamarang.
Mm-hmm.
Denna is in control. He is in pain and weak from days of torture. He's obeying her every command. He is also starving. And we get to a point where they feed him, and it's gruel, right, that he's got to eat on the floor like a dog, and he eats it happily. He's slurping it up. He is licking that bowl. Get all the juices.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. No, it's something that Richard would never normally be happy about.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, given that he had no other options, I like the way I put it in here. If this was all he was allowed, he was going to get full on what he got.
Yeah.
Use what you have.
Yeah, seize the day, seize the moment.
Yeah.
Seize the food.
One of Jade's favorite quotes is, do what you can with what you have to the best of your ability.
Where
and
you
if that's getting full on gruel, then damn it, we're doing it.
I just find it interesting that this is the chunk of time that is chosen for him to go back to prove this point. Because this is still when he's in Tamarang at the beginning of his torture. This is before any of the sexual activity happens, which part of me keeps going back to like that's pretty much the same thing as what's happened here with Kaylin. Although they were not committed to each other at that point in the books. So maybe that's why we don't go there. But it's just interesting to me because his time at Tamarang is in the beginning of his torture, right? It's not even at the end. We aren't using... Do you remember during that time of the torture where he was using her braid? And then
he's focusing on the braid.
He's focusing on the braid as the most beautiful part of her. And then eventually he starts to see her as his object because that's all he can have is the joy of Denna at the end of it. And instead of using that very poignant, I feel, example of where you chose another person.
Another person, right.
We're choosing gruel. And how you chose gruel because that was all you got happy with.
So
and I get it.
What you're saying is there was a closer comparison to what's happening currently that she probably should have used to show it.
I feel
Does Denna know? Oh, yeah, I guess she said too, like Jagang, she would know his thoughts and feelings. Yeah, so she would know when he was focusing on the braid.
Right.
Yeah.
And she said that to him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she even brought it up back
then. And then at the very end, they weren't even using the Aegil. They had come to a different... Like, he still was compartmentalizing his brain. But there was still this, like, element of, I'm doing this to get by in it. Instead of using that very similar example, we're using the food. Which maybe is a way of keeping Richard more clean to the viewer, to the reader. But, I don't know. It's strange to me that we're using the food reference as opposed to...
Yeah.
You had a woman that you used eventually. Granted, it was through torture, but you used a woman there to distract you from what was going on, and you used her for your pleasure also. Because, I'm sorry, I don't have a penis, but I'm pretty sure it's not easy to get off. Like, eventually, he got a hard penis. And I know that you can stick things up somebody's butt and they can be forced to, but eventually he was doing that without being forced to have a hard penis.
Unfortunately, I think that is not the message Denna wanted to show him right now.
Right, and I get that.
Yes.
But isn't that the more...
Oh, 100% agreed. That would be the more important thing to show him. but that's not what she wanted to show him.
But
Those are two different messages.
I think in a way it was kept abstract so that he could apply it to anything.
okay.
That
Like
could be.
as general knowledge.
That could be, but I agree wholeheartedly. That's the message that should have been shown, or at least squeeze that in there.
At least, like, okay, I get the Gruul gets the message across, okay?
Yes.
We don't need the others. I just feel like, considering how Kaylin was pulled over the coals for this, that maybe a more apt comparison could have been made.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of comparison, I believe that Gruul would taste very bad. So I am going to take a bit of a break and
Wow.
get a beer, which tastes very good.
Wow.
And
Look
we're
at you
going to
with
be
that
back
segue just sailing over
right
the gap.
after this. And we are back with more of Chapter 63 of Temple of the Winds. But before we go any further into our chapter, we are going to talk about what we are drinking today.
So I have a Tropicalata. This is from Blake's Hard Cider. So this is a cider. It's orange coconut and pineapple cider. And it's clocking in at 6.9%. If you like pina coladas, this is one you'll want to get mixed up with. Juicy pineapple, tangy orange, and fresh coconut. There's a lotta to love about this hard cider twist on the Island Classic. Now, I know why you guys are looking at me, and there's a reason I said what I said the way I said.
You're not even going to mention Dancing in the Rain?
Nope.
Making love at midnight?
Nope.
If you have half a brain?
Here's the problem, Nate. This is going to be a low score for me.
Yeah. No, well, here's the thing. I'm going to give this a 6. I know that.
Out of
10.
Of what?
Oh, out of 10 tropical.
Hey,
No, you
Hey,
can't just say the
I
name.
don't know.
hey, y'all, listen.
I'm going to give it a 6 because I love the flavor.
Palm
I'm
trees.
a big coconut and pineapple guy.
Pineapple?
Pineapple.
Pen, apple, pen.
I like that flavor profile because I like a lot of rum drinks.
Listen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the sweet stuff, but it is very tart. And I think that, like I said, with some of the sours, it takes it away from my rankings. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Now-
Buccaneers.
I think
Now,
that's
in-
great for a hot day. I think that's wonderful.
Now, Jade pointed this out, but this can is agreeing with you because there is straight up instructions on how to make this or how to blend this with rum, coconut,
Twice.
cream, and ice.
Hell yeah.
2 different.
And then yeah, down below there's also a beer bartender and there's another one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know what? A beer that doubles as a mixer. That's modal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's what I'm saying. That, like, I just want to point out, this is very coconut forward. Is very like, it tastes a lot like a fucking Miami Vice without the strawberry.
Yeah.
Right? But it literally on the can is like, hey guys,
Mix
mix
this
me
with
with
other
rum.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get real fucked up and have a great day. I
Are
just want to
you-
say they are not acting like they need to drink it by themselves.
Are you amending your score?
Now that I know what I know, I'll look. I'm gonna give it a 7,
Okay.
but that's as high as I'm going.
Okay.
Think about drinking that in Jamaica
I want to try it.
Mm.
No, I want to try it in Jamaica with coconut
and rum.
and rum and lots of rum.
We-
And
hey.
then I think I'm giving it a 10 on that day.
I
But
get to
for
Nate,
right
for
now.
sure. I get the solid
yeah.
8 for me.
We might not be able to make it to Jamaica, but we can Jamaica here. That was bad.
Anyways.
Wow.
So like that joke, this is a 4. I am not a fan of pineapple, and I am not a fan of coconut.
See, this is where me and Aaron
So
split, right?
yeah,
Right? If
Yeah.
this was an IPA, he would be like 10, and I'd be like 2.
not
But
if
it's
it
a
was
coconut-
pineapple and coconut.
It's a coconut fruity fucking vacation drink, and I'm like, that could be an 8. And he's like,
Look, here's the thing. I'm gonna drink it. Like Jade, gonna drink it.
I think
but
that
not
just
happy
makes us
about it.
alcoholics. Anyway.
I am also
Let's
going to
keep going.
I'm going to keep drinking
yes,
this.
yes, we should
and,
keep drinking
and
and
focusing
keep going.
on the chapter, hoping that every time I drink it with my eyes closed, that maybe I will open my eyes and be on that beach in Jamaica and just happen to have a shooter of rum there to mix with it.
I actually, if my eyes get open, I hope I'm in this exact situation that Richard's in.
Yeah?
Oh, I think you're wrong. I think it's going to get worse.
No. No, I think he knows what he said.
I know what I signed up for.
Okay, all right, let's
Okay.
go. Let's go.
So the light flashes in Richard's head again, and he's back at the Temple He is panting. He is on his hands and knees. Denna is standing above him.
That's the spot right there.
That's the one that Aaron wanted to go to.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am. Aaron. You can call me Aaron.
Yes, mistress.
That's right. Denna was right. She could hurt him. He knows that now. And he realizes that he has been wrong about Kaelin. He had forgotten Ricker's words to guard his heart from stone, and he was about to waste away in the Temple of the Winds forever because of that.
He has the biggest epiphany moment. I think this is the thing. Me and Nate were trying to figure out how to write that exact note that he just read for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because it says knowledge is empty without heart. The thing is that he realizes multiple things at once here, I think, is what the issue was. But it's said very plainly in the story, and you understand what's happening.
Yeah. We can break it down. I mean, two things happen with Richard. The first thing is that he realizes, because of what Denna showed him, that sometimes you have what you have. When he was a slave and he was happy to eat the gruel, he had resigned himself to the fact that gruel was his life now, and so he ate it happily.
Mm-hmm.
He was straight up enthusiastic about that shit. So when you parallel that to Kaelin in the room with who she thought was Drethin but wasn't, and she had this outburst of apparent joy, which looked like to you, that was her doing the gruel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was her
Doing the
accepting
gruel.
her fate. Yeah, doing the gruel. That was her accepting her fate and being like, okay, this is my fucking life now. I'm going to get what pleasure I can. And
Blueberry
you
pie.
have
I'm
done
Carl
the
all
exact
day
same
long.
thing. Yeah. Once he knows that, he can forgive Kaelin in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realizes that he has been in the Temple of the Winds, has been staying in the Temple of the Winds, coming closer and closer to dying because he is still in the underworld because he's been mad at Kaelin.
Yeah,
He was about to die.
nothing
and make that
matters
choice.
because he's
Right.
mad at Kaelin.
Because he was mad at Kaelin. He threw away literally everything else. And,
Yeah.
and they're trying to say, no, dude.
There's no point in being mad at Kaelin.
Yeah.
So all of it falls apart.
Not
at
only
one
is there
moment.
no point at being mad at Kaelin, but even if you still care for her, you don't just disappear forever. You can still look out for her.
Yeah,
It's just, yeah. So there's a couple of things that happen, but once Richard
immediately.
realizes this, it's like he's unlocking the universe in his brain all over again. And he's like, oh shit, I have to look at this entire situation completely different.
But it feels abrupt, I feel like, to the reader, because you're like, you've been here for a while. Like, okay,
Yeah.
granted, if you're reading this binge reading, it doesn't feel abrupt, because you're reading within a couple chapters, you're like, oh, okay, he got there. But if you're reading it like we're reading it, this has been a couple weeks for us for Richard.
It straight up says in the book, last chapter or last Richard visit, he's been there a few weeks.
Right, but that's
so
what I'm
this
saying.
is probably week 4 minimum.
If you're binge reading,
But time has
You
no
don't-
meaning there, too.
right, but
So
if
we
you're
don't
binge
really
reading,
know.
you don't feel that time.
Right,
But
we're
the way
talking
that
the-
we're
True.
reading it,
Yeah.
we feel that time.
Yeah.
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 And so it's like, okay, you've been sitting here. You talked to Caitlin's mom. There was a very clear moment where you could have had this realization with her. Like, he is not sitting there for 4 weeks actually diving into his psyche.
Yeah, he's just
No.
sitting there.
He's killing time.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have a cell phone. He's not playing a Switch.
no.
He's literally staring
Oh,
into the abyss
that's
and not
depressing.
even assessing the situation as a like not even trying as
Mm-hmm.
a seeker of truth. Okay, continue.
do what
Okay.
she says, Nate. Do what she says.
Well, Richard thanks Denna for her gift of pain. She's made him understand. He gets it now. He's got to go home. He knows that. She thanks him for living up to what she expects of him. Because, I mean, Denna held Richard to a pretty high fucking standard. I think we can all agree while he was a slave and being tortured by her.
Mm-hmm.
She pushed him harder than she'd pushed anybody. So she's got a high bar. And she also respects Richard because he set her free. So she wants to see him doing the right thing.
I think that's the crux of it. Like, you did the right thing in the end. For me, you should still do that.
In a weird, fucked up way, they did respect each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like, pretty much the whole time. Like, there was a level of respect there. Like, Denna respected that he was going to put up a fight.
Yeah, that he was so resilient.
Yeah, she respected all of that stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's fucked up how they got there, but it's like, yeah, they they know each other. Like, they know what's going to happen if they say certain things.
Well, yeah, and even in his hurt, he tried to protect her, which is
Mhm.
what made her protective of him because of who he is as a person.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, all of this is because they have a connection. And I also feel like it's because they have a connection that Richard chose to say the thing that he says next, which is, Denna, were you not a spirit, I'd kiss you, baby. Come here, give Daddy a smooch. No, he didn't do that.
I was gonna say, I don't remember those words.
No, he says, dude,
You know-
if you weren't a spirit, I would kiss you.
No, see, the thing is, Nate, he doesn't say dude.
He doesn't say dude. No, he doesn't. You're right,
And
I'm
you know what?
paraphrasing.
And that's the thing. He says it in such a way that you are supposed to, as a reader, take it on its face like that. Like, hey, bro, I would give you a kiss if you weren't a spirit.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
this
I'd
is-
kiss your forehead or your cheek.
Like, this is any other fucking person on the street who did a kindness to him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would kiss you. No, this is not any other goddamn person.
Nope.
Okay? This is an ex. This is a former lover. This is a whole situationship that you had with this motherfucking person.
Situation.
A whole situationship. And like I said earlier in this chapter, you were already talking to her, talking shit about your present relationship, okay? That's not a situationship. That's a relationship. That is a full-on, we are committed to each other, and you're talking shit about her to your ex, whatever the fuck that is, which is problematic. And now
Yeah.
you're talking about, oh, I'd kiss you if you were a spirit.
I see it.
And we didn't put this in the notes, but here in a second, he goes on to say something about how we love you, which, okay, you don't know that much about the other Mordsith, so I don't know if you're talking for the Mordsith. Maybe they love you because you're a sister of the Aegil. Okay, but if you're talking for Caitlin only knows what she knows about Denna because of you, and she might love her because she let you fuck in the spirit world, but you don't really have that much of a connection with that bitch. So why are we talking about kissing and loving the spirit? I get she's doing a lot of good for you. Okay. But you just got so butthurt about your fiance fucking somebody else, but she was basically forced into it, and now you're gonna be all lovey-dovey with your ex in the spirit world?
And only thinking she fucked someone else.
Exactly. She didn't even
actually
do it.
fucked you.
She didn't even
Yeah.
do it. Exactly. And
Preach.
now you're going to be getting all close and cozy with your fucking ex in the spirit world. You're going to come back and you're going to be like, Denna helped me in the spirit. You're not going to say shit about all this like flirty bullshit you did with the dead person. Because why would you? Because it doesn't matter. Richard's an asshole. Richard's an asshole.
How do you really feel about it?
Yeah.
Richard's an asshole.
I agree.
I see it. Yeah, for sure.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I think we shortened all of that down into not the fucking time, Richard.
Not the time.
Last night.
yeah.
Even if those emotions you were feeling towards Denna are valid, and I do believe parts of them are.
And yeah, it's fine. Caitlin's
Right.
never going to know. Right? It's fine. It's fine.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know you're not, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying this is what sounds to be the last time he's ever going to see Denna, right? Because she's going
Yeah.
off into some place, and so
Last time you're gonna see her, your fiance
I
won't
would've-
know. It's
I would have
fine.
done it differently. True. I would have said different words and handled the whole situation differently.
Ugh.
But I would have said something here.
I don't
right?
know if I can hold your guys' hands during this.
I
I'm
just
upset.
wouldn't have made it
I'm upset.
as problematic as Richard did. Anyway, he tells Reyna that, tell
Reyna?
her we love her right here. No. He says, tell Reyna
Okay.
He
that
says
we
to
love
Denna.
her.
Yeah.
And she says that Reyna knows that
Mhm.
feelings of the heart cross the boundary. So CJ, technically, he wouldn't have had to say it. He could have just been like, I love you, Denna, in
Yeah,
his heart.
exactly. But he
And
did
it would've-
anyways.
Anyway, but then Richard also wants her to be with him while he walks the halls of the winds for the last time. He knows the worst is yet to come, and she'd bring him a little bit of peace. They walk in silence to the great doors because the emotions that Richard is feeling right now are just too great to put into words.
Yeah, and they both know it, so it's fine.
This is where I'm now I'm leaning your way. It's weird. Anyways, but Darken Rahl is there waiting for them at the great doors with his going somewhere, my son.
I figured you
Look.
would be excited for this part, Aaron.
Yeah. This
Look.
is your big victorious moment, buddy. You called this shit a mile away.
Look, I'm going to call it again at the end of the chapter. I'm going to make another prophecy.
Oh.
Look, the man says Colin, okay? The narrator in Audible who does these books. I got to give him credit for his darkened voice, though. It's creepy and I don't like it. But, like, in a way that I know I'm not supposed to like it. Like, all right, the man does a good darken. Yeah. The going somewhere, my son. I was upset.
He's good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if just people in the underworld talk like that, or if once you're evil, you just kind of develop a way of speaking or what it is. But yeah, he's got it for sure.
I didn't hear underworld. I just heard dead people. And I was like, don't you dare try to tell me that's what Denna sounds like, too.
Hello, Richard.
Yeah, it still works.
You've been naughty. Anyways.
Wow.
If there's Sean Connery,
Yeah.
maybe we can have a discussion.
Well, Richard tries to not be bothered by Darken Rahl, right? He just tries to nope that shit. He tries to walk past him, saying that Darken wouldn't understand why he's going back, and he isn't going to waste his time explaining it to him. Fuck off. You're a bad guy. I already beat you. You're already here. You're done.
Yeah.
Darken appears again in front of the door. Now, last time this was Kaylin, and he could just pick her up and move her to the side.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Darken. He tells him he cannot leave unless he agrees to the terms. I'm sorry, did you not read the bottom of the contract?
No one ever reads the fine print.
Excuse me? Apparently, since the spirits set a price for him to enter this world, they can set some for him to leave, too.
Which, I mean, I kind of get. That does make sense, but it seems like you would say that at the start.
At the beginning.
When you're listing out what the terms are.
When you are forced to audibly agree out loud that you agree to the terms while the spirits knowing full well that you don't know all the terms.
Yeah, and
you can't say that it's all under your free will because it's fucking not.
And this has been ruled that is not enforceable by the Supreme Court. The terms of service, you click agree, you don't actually agree. You can't be held to that agreement.
Yeah.
They've ruled that it's unreasonable for everyone to read the fine print.
It is.
So everything is in Richard's side on here.
To be fair, I also want to say it's explicitly said that Darken Rahl is coming up with this shit
Oh, yeah.
now.
Right. Yeah, we find out it's not that Darken Rahl set these specific terms.
Before he even came in. No,
Yeah.
he's deciding this
They just said,
on the spot.
on spot.
Yeah, they just said, oh, yeah, Darken gets to come up with how and why you have to leave.
Mhm.
That's fine. We're good with that.
He has his hands all up in this, too. I mean, apparently he was given the option, and he was like, oh, shit, yeah, I'm getting in on that.
Yeah. The spirits basically say, okay, so the good and the bad spirits had their hands in how you could get here. That's how this had to work. But because one of the bad spirits had their hand in it, they had the option to choose if you had requirements to leave.
Yeah.
And of course, because they're bad, they do. What?
He's getting punished twice.
Yeah, excuse me?
And,
Ooh,
well, hold on.
decided this.
No, with this, on this point, I want a spinoff. I want to know. I want the politics. I want the courtroom drama of Darken working his way up to lead representative
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
on this
that
council.
would be good.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That's all.
Race to the top to be the best baddie.
We can workshop it.
Yeah.
You know what we could workshop it over though?
What's that?
I think maybe we could workshop it over maybe a beer during a break.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
So I think let's take a quick break. We'll regroup, and we will finish the chapter right after this.
And we are back for the remainder of Chapter 63 of Temple of the Winds. So, Richard, they are doing the robot. What's happening?
What?
Was I dancing? Did I sound like a DJ or something?
Look, man, I don't know what happened, but when it hits you, you got to do it.
It's a vibe.
We're going to pause for a dance party real quick. No, Richard demands to be told the price before he agrees to it, because naturally you're going to want to.
Yeah.
I don't eat anything without knowing what it is.
Yeah,
anything.
You sign the contract before, or you read the contract before you sign it.
Damn right.
Yeah.
If the price is too steep, he won't do it. But he does vow to make Darken pay. I don't know why I said that weird either. He doesn't like the idea of having to pay a cost that Darken chose. And he's going to fucking make him pay. I mean, he's just down here in the underworld. He can still fuck with him, right?
Yeah, he's like, if I decide not to, I'm going to fuck with you forever.
Yeah.
Well, and
I'm going to be stuck here.
And this is immediately, now Richard knows, like, this is a political thing now. Like, I can't show him where the actual line of too far is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I need to make it seem like, hey, I'm only going to go right here. So when he goes one step above that, you were actually okay with going there.
And he's setting that line early, too.
Yeah.
Now, and I just wanted to bring something up here because I thought maybe you guys would be curious what a certain word means that was in the book here. So Darken approached Richard close enough that the pain of his spirit coruscation was almost enough to make Richard back away. He willed himself to hold his ground without a shield of magic. Would you like to know what the definition of coruscation is?
I would, because I have absolutely
I don't know.
idea.
It's probably a fancy word for proximity or some shit, because Terry likes to do that shit.
It means to glitter or sparkle.
He was sparkling?
So the way this reads is that Darken Rahl was glittering or sparkling.
He's a vampire.
So much.
Jade, it's like Twilight.
I think someone thought this word meant something different when they used it. Unless I misheard it, but I looked it up too, and this is the word, and this is the definition I found.
That is amazing.
You know,
he's glittering.
No, I think Terry was just getting deep into a dictionary because what was it, 2 chapters ago? He used font
Yes.
instead of fount.
To be fountain.
Like, he could have just used the word fount.
He's just making it fancy.
Yeah.
I think someone had the thesaurus out.
Yeah.
And that maybe
yeah.
they grabbed the wrong one for this one, though. That was all.
Well, Darken is confident that Richard will pay the price no matter what it is. And he reveals that there are 2 requirements. The first, look, Richard saw this one coming. He's got to leave the knowledge gained here and return back to the world of life without the knowledge of the winds. So he's going right back to where he was before he came here and understood the universe.
Yeah, just normal Richard. I'm a super badass wizard, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I'm a bad guy. This is a prize. Like, yeah, of course. I'm not going to allow you to be awesome out there to get your way.
Yeah.
No, we got to dim that shine.
I don't like this, but yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, otherwise Richard's too OP.
Yeah.
If he comes back with literally all of the knowledge, who's a problem? Jagang? He knows how to beat him.
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming he probably knows how to beat him.
He said,
when he's in the temple.
It
He could
literally
destroy
said,
him
yeah.
and his armies just
Yeah.
by casting a web
So
with
it's
both
like,
sides
yeah,
and calling
like,
it good.
If the book series was only 4 books long, then this is not one of the requirements, because then it's just like, yeah, Richard goes back and everything's great.
Right. Yeah.
The
yeah.
end. Him and Caitlin lived happily ever after somehow.
He
Yeah.
fixes the whole universe.
In his hands.
Hmm.
But anyway.
He's got the whole world.
The second requirement, though,
Yeah.
he was not as ready for.
Yeah, what's the second requirement?
It makes his knees buckle.
So I missed where you said what the second requirement was. What was it again? Can you let me know, please?
Well,
No, I can't.
Why?
Because we don't actually find out what that is.
So we are in Richard's point of view, but we don't get to hear what he hears.
yeah, basically.
Correct.
Fucking hate this.
Yeah. It's like the reader goes deaf for just 5 seconds. The thing you must do, Richard, is wah, 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 wah.
Yeah,
No, you
Yeah.
can't make me.
We turned into Charlie Brown.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, we
What
go
the fuck happened?
we go third party for just a second, and we can't hear anything.
Well, he asks Denna if Darken is even able to do this fucking thing, right? He can't. She's straight up, yes, this is within his power. This is his choice. And as devastating as it seems, Richard agrees that he will pay the price. Again, the price that we don't know what it is.
Right.
But Darken says he made a mistake asking it, and now Richard can use his emptiness against him.
Yeah. So, basically, Richard found out, like, through all of this, he's learned that knowledge without heart is empty. So,
Mm-hmm.
Darken doing these things that he's doing without heart is emptiness. And now Richard is able to use all the knowledge that he has inside the or inside this world to hurt Darken Rahl.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He's got the power, he's got the knowledge, and Darken just put his own final nail in his coffin. Because what we were about to find out is that Darken basically showed that he has literally zero light in him whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is 0 ounce of redeemability
All bad.
in Darken Rahl. And if there's no light in you, you don't deserve to be in a place that the light can reach.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, Darken says all he can do is banish him.
Mm-hmm.
The requirements are set. Richard said, yeah, you're right, but I am still going to fuck with you. You are going to taste my anger! For all of the bullshit that he's done. And, plus the second requirement that he is still very, very angry about.
Mm-hmm. That we totally have no idea what it is.
Still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He sends out a pristine flow of subtractive magic, covering Darken in the oblivion of light.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's like he's literally banishing a demon to the lowest part of hell where he can't reach anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's plunged into the Keeper. Yeah, just like this. He's plunged into the Keeper's shadow, wailing, feeling the pain of the denial of the Creator's light.
That's where it ties in right there. Darken has no light in him, so there's nothing holding like the Creator's grasp on Darken.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no, dude, you just proved that you are just straight up an asshole. And the Creator does not like assholes.
No.
So guess what? I can do more than banish you from the temple. I can banish you specifically to the Keeper for all of the rest of eternity.
Oh, yeah. You don't get to just hang out in here and just kind of
Darken
be wherever.
is no longer in the underworld.
Yeah.
He is in the grasp of the Keeper. And, to me, this definitely reads that, Darken is, permanently and unequivocally gone for good.
Yeah.
For now.
Or is he?
He's with the Keeper in torture right now is where he is.
He sure is right now, but you want to know my prophecy? Fucking Darken's gonna come back.
He's coming back? Oh, man.
Darken's gonna come back. I'm calling it. I don't know what book it's gonna be, but Darken's gonna come back.
All right. Consider it called. Prophet
From
Aaron
the dark?
has spoken again.
Yeah. I was trying to be dark, and yeah.
Well, Richard
it wasn't good.
turns back towards the world of the living. Denna apologizes and said none but Darken would have asked that.
So what?
I thought there was more.
Well, no. I was going to ask you guys, but then it's like you guys either remember or already know the answer. But it's like, yeah, I was trying to think. Okay, well, clearly I'm supposed to guess what option number or what requirement number 2 was, and I don't know.
I know, but my noise was because, Richard says here, he knows, and I just it's just the annoying part of this chapter. Why was Darken allowed to set that requirement?
Exactly. Why was he chosen for this thing in the first place? Who allowed him to be in there? I know good and bad spirits, but seriously, what the fuck?
There's a spin-off here.
It's just you're supposed to just roll with it and
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, that's the way. Yeah, okay,
Well-
yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't.
Jade, magic pocket dimension.
Mm.
That's the reason.
Nobody but Darken would have chose this. Yeah, so why did... Supposedly, there should be more than one good spirit rooting for Richard as opposed to the one bad spirit rooting against him
Apparently,
that we know of.
it doesn't say. It's the only one we know of.
Yeah, we know of one evil spirit and
Even the
and
quote-unquote
Keeper
evil
potential.
spirit, like Denna, was arguably a bad person, right?
Yeah, but...
So,
but there
she
should
could be a bad guy considered
there should
too,
be
but
a-
she was on Richard's side.
But there should be a team of good spirits, not only that knew him in real life, but also just want the world of the living not to be destroyed, right?
Past seekers, past first
Right.
wizards, but
So
that's
why
where
did all of them allow
yeah.
this one bad spirit to be the one that could make or break everything?
I think that, intended or not, this was an example of how sometimes a vocal minority can appear to be the majority.
Yeah.
And because I don't understand it. I fully
I'm just annoyed.
I fully agree that it's Where is Zed's dad, who was also a first wizard, I think, wasn't he? Like, doesn't Zed come from a line of wizards? Or am I just pulling that straight out of my ass?
He should.
I believe so.
He should.
Oh, no, he talks to his parents. They're doing something. They're spirits. Where are Zed's parents? I got to imagine they would be vying for a spot on the let's decide what the terms are for Richard.
They were connecting with the real world all the time.
You're literally his family.
Yeah, the Mud People spirits. Where's their representative?
Yeah.
Where's Grandpa? Like, I'm sure he would have been fighting for it. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But I think it's just Darken's a cool bad guy. Well, and I think this is shitty.
It's convenient.
I think it's shitty because I think it's convenient, but then it gives us a way to get another victory over Darken. If Darken isn't as shitty and in this place that he is, we don't get to see him banished to the Keeper.
Because you get to see him beaten time and time again.
Which I don't agree with it, but I think that's probably, it's like,
that's good bad guy dynamics.
Yeah, let's get rid of Darken for good.
We're gonna say
Batman doesn't kill Joker. Joker won't kill Batman.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring that up earlier. I see why, never mind. Look, all I can say is we know what we know. Okay, and that's our truth.
And now that you have heard our truth, we would love to hear yours. If you wanted to let us know what you thought about this chapter, you can write in your journey books to podcastatt@gmail.com or follow us on our social medias over on Facebook. If you really enjoyed this episode and wanted to support us, you can find us over on patreon.com/podcastatt. You can make a pledge of any amount there. If not that, don't forget to subscribe to this show if you don't want to miss any more of these chapter breakdowns. Thank you, Seeker, very, very much for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
That was mischievous.
That was my favorite one so far.
Yeah, bye. I'm scared.
Bye.